So my name is Alinga Taid. I'm a professor in social enterprise and I'm a director for the Center for Citizenship, Enterprise and Governance. I guess my big idea, people align me closely to the developer of the most rapidly adopted social impact metric in the world. It's called the social earnings ratio. And I guess if you look at how we used to measure intangible values in organizations previously, in terms of the value of the organization, in terms of their projects, and in terms of their processes, it used to be very much survey-based. I would have to come to you and say, do you love animals? Do you love trees? Do you love little children? Etc. Three things have changed. One is big data is now available. Secondly is social media is now available. And thirdly, something called sentiment analysis. You can now tell how people feel within milliseconds around the world by watching Twitter, Facebook, etc. And so that impacts on consumer purchasing, impacts on what people think of you in the community, and we deliver the social impact metric within 10 seconds at a cost of £5, as opposed to doing it over 18 months, costing £100,000. It's called, we have a platform called Seratio, SERATIO.com. We are the metric behind the Social Value Act, which is a legislation that came in 2012, enacted in 2013, and also the new Modern Slavery Act, which comes into law in October this year. That is all about transparency in the procurement chain. In other words, if I am contracting a company to supply me here, are they using slave labor in India, in China, underpay, and in what bad conditions? This is how it enacts in this country, but we're doing this also in Spain right now because that's another country that is in financial difficulty. In India, with their 2% CSR law, which says that 2% of gross profits must be spent on corporate social responsibility. In Indonesia, with their 2% CSR law, and in UAE, and all around the world, basically. So if I give you an idea how fast this is moving, you know, we started this 3 years ago. We actually made it into a SaaS platform in about October last year, I apologize. And we now have 35 staff and £12 billion of procurement under management. So, you know, procurement people are like everyone else. When I used to work, I retired many years ago, about 8 years ago. I used to make a joke of a dating site for procurement people. What would it look like? It was like a bunch of self-harming people, you know. But now, I would say, you know, the procurement people, the conference here today is about that. They're saying we're not just process people. We're not just people who go through a PQQ, ITT tender process and tick boxes and add numbers at the end. We want to transform things. They are controlling the biggest budgets in the world, whether for government or for corporates. And they are the mantle of power is now with them. And the expectation that they play the most instrumental part in an organization belongs to them. So take that destiny. I'm excited for them.